So we are here, we are in Ireland. We got here around 12 o'clock last night, and the weather was brilliant all the way here, so really quite mild.
That's nice.
It felt, when we got off the ferry, it actually felt like getting off an aeroplane.
It did, yeah,
So,
like abroad.
Yeah, so the heat did hit you, which was lovely and well needed, because the ferry was very well air conditioned.
Ventilated.
Ventilated. So really drama free, considering we had limited sat nav capabilities. And then once we got back, unpacked, and you prepared our route for today.
Yeah, so we'll go off to the Bikefest first, go and see what it's like there, and then we will go towards Glenbeigh, and then we'll take a loop west and end up in Killorglin, I think it's pronounced, Killorglin, and then we'll just see what time it is, what it's like, and play it by ear. We might do go towards Dingle. It's a bit of a loop there I think we can do as well, but we'll just play it by ear.
Yeah. So we got some good tips from somebody that was actually on the ferry of a few places that we could try, and certainly somewhere where we can get a pizza and a beer as well. So we will see you soon.
So what did you think of the festival?
There were a lot of Harleys there.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. And some of them did not look like they had been ridden other than a perfect day with only sun, limited bugs, and got a good old bath when they got back.
Yeah, quite the opposite to our bike, eh?
Yes, I think our bike did look a little bit weathered in comparison to some of the bikes there. It wasn't being photographed much.
Well, I mean, I showed it on there though, didn't I? But no, definite. You could see the definite difference.
Yeah, absolutely could. But the chips and curry was okay. But for that, a burger and €30.
Well, it was a can of Coke, chips and curry, cheeseburger, €30.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So pack your wallet.
Yeah. I mean, it filled the hole though, at least.
It did. It was quite nice, actually.
It was nice. Nice enough. Not €30 nice, but it was nice.
Yeah, it was. But then we couldn't wait to get out a little bit, actually, though, could we, and explore some of the roads?
Yeah. And we went out into the Killarney National Forest here on the Ring of Kerry, and it was the best decision. It was just so good there, wasn't it?
Oh, it was brilliant. As soon as you came out, it was warmish again. It looked like it was going to rain, but it didn't quite get there, so nice and warm.
Yeah, and it was just, everything was just beautiful. It's. I think we were lucky though, because we got Island in sunshine.
We did.
And Island in sunshine is just a special place. It's spectacular.
Oh, we were amazed. So the Ring of Kerry is 111 miles of pure spectacular scenery.
Yeah, pretty much.
A whole lot of it. You've got coastlines, you've got lakes, mountains.
Yeah.
All on nice windy roads.
Yeah, perfect for bikes.
It was built for bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much for buses, and unfortunately you still have to share the road.
Although the buses on the Ring of Kerry are only allowed to go one way.
Oh.
Yeah, so they go the opposite direction to how we rode it.
So how do they get back?
How do they get back? Well, there's a helicopter on the other side.
Well, how do they get back?
It's a loop. So they go round. They're supposed to go around the circle. Some of them go by helicopter. There's a submarine for when the helicopters are full. Submarine goes just a little bit off the coast.
Okay, smart ass. Well, apparently if there's a loop, then you get to the other side anyway.
I sometimes feel like I go round and round in circles as well.
Look, I'm just living up to my name of idiot too, clearly. This was all just for the camera.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I obviously knew the answer, really.
Sure. We'll go with that.
But Killarney National Park that we do come through, or you do come through for in the Ring of Kerry.
Well, this part, yeah.
Yeah, the part that we're coming through now. So it is home to Talk Waterfall, which we didn't get to see because we were on a fly-in tour, I think, this time round. And Ireland's only native red deer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So live there in Killarney National Park. Now, everybody that's watched any of our previous videos know how fond I am of a good old deer story.
Oh dear, here we go again.
So this one is now recorded that this is where the red deer are that we didn't see.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure these are the deer we were referring to previously.
No.
But we'll go with that, shall we? At least now we've got a reference.
We know where some deer are.
Yeah. And if this is the first time you're watching one of our videos and you have no idea what we're talking about, then don't worry. Most of the time I have no idea what we're talking about either.
Yeah, you'll have to go back and watch because we did see some deer on one of the trips and I can't remember which one.
Yeah, and I keep telling you where it was and then you keep disagreeing with me.
Find me the footage and I'll believe you.
Yeah. So there was actually something else I was going to say here about the Ring of Kerry, and it's gone. It'll come back to me.
It does have standing stones and medieval ruins all along the way.
We didn't see them either.
We didn't. No, I think you did point some out that were a little bit further away for some. And then you've got Stag Fort as well, which is near Sneem. And that's one of the best reserved stone forts in Ireland.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm, yeah, dating back to early centuries AD.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What I was going to mention earlier is what astounded me, and I'll talk about it more later maybe, some palm trees.
I know.
And loads of gorgeous detached houses.
I mean, wow.
Wow, indeed. Ladies' View. This is one of Ireland's most photographed places.
You can absolutely see why, though. It was spectacular. It was absolutely gorgeous. You know, you're coming up kind of nice windy roads. It looks quite rainforesty, and then it opens out at the top. And didn't you tell me a story about this?
About why it's called Ladies' View.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently it's called Ladies' View because Queen Victoria did a visit to Ireland back in the 1800s, and her ladies in waiting admired the view. They loved the view that much, so they wanted to, well, they stopped off there, and they were just wowed by it, and because of that they called it Ladies' View.
Right.
So they must have made quite a fuss about it, and understandably you can see why. Maybe they had it on a summer's day as well, on a sunny day.
Yeah, maybe like us. Maybe they got there on bike.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, for all we know, Queen Victoria was an actual biker.
Yeah, she was ahead of her time.
Yeah.
And she had her ladies in waiting on the back.
Yeah.
Well, they would ride, wouldn't they, I suppose?
Yeah. Well, she'd have probably been, Queen Victoria would have been the pillion.
Yes,
She'd have
I
been
think so.
ridden around in a big flowy Victorian dress. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
But it was absolutely gorgeous.
But it was so good that we had to go back the following day as well.
We did.
So on the way back, actually, we came past this again because the road was just that special. We needed to do it again.
Yeah, and we're not a bus, so we can go both ways. We don't have to get a helicopter back.
Yeah, or a submarine when the helicopters are full. Yeah, but what I was going to say earlier actually is that a couple of things that really struck me this whole day was the fact that there are palm trees in Ireland.
I know.
I mean, they seemed out of place. We didn't actually see many palm trees here, but on Valentia Island there were loads, weren't there?
Yeah.
And also the houses. All these big detached houses. The houses just looked spectacular. Some really, really nice properties there.
Gorgeous. We did have a little Google of house prices in Killarney.
Yeah.
After this trip, it did go onto the remember to Google that list. That's quite a random list at the end of some rides, but
and sometimes we don't remember half the things.
Yeah, we need a bike PA. Without a doubt.
Life PA.
That is very true.
I keep trying to get you to do that, but
but when I'm rubbish at it, because I need one myself. But another great view. Anywhere you were coming, so we were saying about the palm trees, but the greenery everywhere, and the kind of tropical rainforest feel in some places, and then mountains and streams and rivers. And you know, I was saying the whole trip, it was really like being in the King Kong film or Lord of the Rings or something like that. But it does turn out it was actually featured in Star Wars.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was actually featured in Star Wars, The Ring of Kerry.
Oh, cool. Well, there's in Moll's Gap. So that area, that sort of groove in the country, if you like, in the landscape, was created. It's a glacial valley. It was created by a glacier millions of years ago. But Moll's Gap is called Moll's Gap because it's after someone called Moll Kisani, who, when the road was being built, he had an unlicensed pub.
Right.
The Shebeen, we actually call it Shebeens in South Africa as well, but they call it the Shebeen then. And he supplied them with potato whiskey. So basically illegal potato whiskey while the road was being built.
Oh, did he? So we stopped off in Sneem. We needed a little bit of a snack, refreshments. And what a cute little place it is.
It was good. I had a good crack going on there. There was some live music playing. Or might have been over speakers. I don't know. I didn't actually see, but you could hear it.
Yeah, I think there was some pubs outside because I went to have a little look, and people kind of sat outside. You know, there seemed to be plenty of bikes there. I don't know. There must have been some kind of fest going on close by.
Possibly, yeah.
And we did see somebody getting a photograph taken with the statue that's in Sneem as well. So I had to go over and explore that, and that one did make it to the Google list and the Remember Google list. It was Steve the Crusher Casey.
Steve the Crusher.
Yeah.
So you've got to say it with an Irish accent.
I'm not going to butcher that for people. People need subtitles already.
I'm not going to try. No.
So he was born in Sneem in 1908, but he's the eldest of 7 athletic Casey brothers. So they were clearly quite an athletic family among them. But he was famous for being world champion in wrestling. So he had loads of multiple heavyweight titles in the late 1930s. So before that, he was a rower and a tug-of-war champion.
Was he? Well, he clearly had some strength in him, though.
Yeah. I mean, did you know that was even an actual thing, a tug-of-war champion?
Well, no is the answer, but now I'm trying to think. I always thought tug-of-war was like done in a group, in a team, but I suppose actually sometimes it could be done like
teams. I think there might have been
individuals
teams. Because I think he might have done it with his brothers as well, but his famous wrestling move was his Killarney flip.
His Killarney flip. Which is basically probably a wrestling flip.
Yeah.
But done in Killarney.
Yeah. But that was his actual wrestling move. But the whole family were clearly really athletic, so the Casey clan were dubbed the toughest family on earth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the time. So as much as his brothers weren't as accomplished as what he was, you know, some of them, so Paddy, Mick, Jim and Tom all had accolades across the globe.
Right.
So quite a fit old family, so you would want to cross those after a few Guinnesses.
Now you'll be crushed by the
Killarney
flip. You'll be flipped by the crusher.
Yeah. So you've got kind of little festival, like vintage vibes, and then you're coming back out onto the coastline again.
Yeah, yeah. And this was a cool little place. This was such a beautiful, beautiful little place. O'Cattle's Cove. Just look at that.
I know. We were just wowed every moment.
We were constantly, absolutely constantly. That's a handsome fella.
So after we've had a scope about at the Bikefest this morning, we have decided to go off and take on some of the roads, some of the suggestions that were being given on the ferry yesterday. And where have we actually been?
So we went from Killarney and we have gone past Moll's Gap, Ladies View, and we're on the Wild Atlantic Way at the moment by O'Cattle's Cove. Absolutely gorgeous here. I mean, just stunning.
We had to stop, have a little drink here and take in the view because it is just spectacular.
It is nice.
There have been some brilliant roads and some really amazing scenes along the way.
Yeah, I'm thinking of O'Cattle's Cove. Moll's Gap and Ladies View, the road that goes past that, is just awesome. So good.
And for some reason there's a few bikes out today.
I don't know why there's so many bikes here. They just clogged the road up.
But it's been great so far and we've still got plenty more to come. So, see you soon.
Catch you in a bit.
sorely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheeks and ruby lips alone she holds my heart enthralled. Then fill to me the parting glass. Good night and God be with you all. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I've had, they're sorry for my going away. And of all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call. Good night and God be with you all. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and God be with you all.
Well, we are on Valentia Island, and what a view it is. We've just found out that you can see dinosaur footprints from here,
15 minutes
about 15 minutes away. So, should we go and see them?
I reckon so.
It'd be rude not to, I think. So, we'll keep you posted. Bye.
So, Valentia Island was just beautiful, and this is where we saw a lot of palm trees. So we're on our way here to the Tetrapod Trackway,
Yep.
which is basically dinosaur footprints from hundreds of millions of years ago. I think it's about 395 million years ago. And fun fact, this Valentia Island, the dinosaur footprints were made when this area, this Valentia Island, was actually attached to North America. It was south of the equator.
Was it?
Yeah. It's weird that, isn't it? So obviously, I mean, way back in the times we had, what was it, Pangea, the one supercontinent.
Yeah.
And obviously everything broke up, so this must have just moved quite some distance to be where it is now.
Wow. And that's where the footprints were from?
That's where they're from, yeah. So I think it was, it was North America that it was joined to.
So this was just a little detour of kind of where we stopped along there, and this way we want to spend a lot more time in Ireland, so we've got time for more of these detours.
Yeah, yeah. So you'll see the photos where the dinosaurs came out of the water onto land,
Yes.
dragged their tails as well.
And our little sticker.
Our little sticker.
What an experience.
That lad made me chuckle because as we came on there, he was thumbs up to the other bikes going past, and he was thumbing up to us. And then, of course, so many kids though, so many little lads, just on the ring of Kerry, were doing like the throttle movement.
Yeah, they were. Mm-hmm. But they do all over. In fact, some of them look at you like you're a celebrity just because you're on your bike.
Yeah, this was an interesting little bit, because we left Killorglin to go home, and somehow, I mean, this is how we get our name, where I get our name from, but somehow we ended up on a 15 to 20 minute ride to end back in Killorglin again. Nice little sunset loop.
Yeah, but it's what it's all about. You can just take your time, you can meander around. But it was at this point, really, we were starting to think about the next day of waiting around until 12 o'clock till the bike fest would kind of start, or be up early and see some more of the roads. So we were pondering that for a little while at the moment, because it would mean we would miss the bike fest on the night, which we did want to see. So we were in a little bit of a quandary. What do we want to do? Do we want to see, wait around on the morning, or do we want to see some more of what Ireland had to offer on the roads? I'll let you think about which way we went while you have a look at some more of this amazing scenery.
It was amazing. It was so difficult to try and condense everything into the time that we've got here.
Yeah, absolutely. Even on the ride. So back home, if you want to see where we ended up the next day, what we decided, then make sure you subscribe and watch next week. Thank you.
See you soon.